All right, guys, welcome back to the Raised Hunting Podcast. As usual, I'll apologize for the two that are with me because I don't know what they're going to say. And I'll apologize for the drawing because it's pretty crude that we're about to look at. But we have another piece of property that someone is asking for some guidance on, see if we can help them. I have one as well if we have time to do two. Someone wrote in on social media, which do us a favor and don't do that if you can. Because we don't check it that often enough to find them. So please send it to our website. Okay. So
there's even a fancy new form on there that you can, it's like neat and looks good. If you just go to our website, go to the homepage, you can scroll down the little podcast spot and click, I want to submit a podcast. And then there you go.
Well, let me see if I can find this gentleman's name. And I'm going to call him out if I can find.
Warren, you got reviews?
Instagram or was it?
I do. All right. On YouTube, Jeremy Rupsick says, great discussion. It's that time of year again. Everyone's getting excited to get back in the woods, putting out our raised scents and mock scrapes. Easton doesn't get excited yet since he won't get a chance for more than 2 months.
What did he say?
He says, Easton, don't get excited yet since you won't get a chance for more than 2 months.
You suck, man. Probably true, though.
Guys, for your flies, try a Zevo fly trap. You plug it in and it has blue light that attracts them and traps them.
In all fairness, Quentin Spot got us that.
How sad is that?
We don't have the right plug-in out here. It doesn't fit. We have a hole in a wall for a plug because this is a redneck podcast booth done by yours truly. So
that's pretty sad.
When we go inside,
people are trying to help us. We're on a podcast. This is something people listen to, and the flies are so annoying that they know it.
Evidently, YouTube is one of the that's number 1 or number 2 on podcasts because people like to watch. Granted, we don't have that many people on our YouTube, I don't think.
It's been going up lately.
Right.
Brown Native 7599 says, love the podcast. Bucky Doe Downer 94. You always enjoy listening to you fellas. Can't wait till next week. Have a good one. Eric Robards had a great time at the Deer and Beer Fest and giving David a hard time. Nice. Good work. Joey Kessinger 6464. 5-star. How did y'all like the Illinois Deer and Beer Fest? It was nice to meet y'all.
Nice.
Iowa Racks and Birds was great hanging out at the booth in Illinois and getting my boys in Illinois hooked up with some raised scents and rub post. Appreciate everything you guys do. Also, Easton, I'm waiting on my tree rake. Also love talking bird hunting with Luke from Devon. Robert Veering 6788 says, how about a discussion on tree stand and or saddle height in a tree? Been hearing a lot of debate lately on the subject.
Ooh.
That's a good one. We can add that. We might even be able to throw that in today.
Yeah.
William Ayers, SP4TT. Great episode, guys. All the information you can get matters, but not all the information you get is going to help you kill that deer. And then let's go to Spotify real quick because Spotify guys are the best.
I'm a grade A overthinker.
Apple Podcast guys, you're a little bit lame. Some of you are great, but
wasn't that
the
all
rest
Apple
of you,
Podcasts?
A lot of Apple Podcasts guys because they don't leave many reviews. So you guys are the ones of you that do leave reviews. You're not lame. The ones of you that don't leave reviews, you are lame.
Okay, fair enough.
Cliff Art 86. Man, this podcast is really something special. I compared it to the Southern Outdoorsman as the 2 best hunting podcasts in the world. I can't say that now because even the Southern Outdoorsman is 30 minutes of sponsorship and things thrown at you. And this family has figured out something that no one else in the world has, and it's to give you a full episode of facts and not sponsorships. It's amazing.
I like it.
And is why it has to be the number 1 podcast in the world, not just the hunting industry.
Who was that?
Yeah, Cliff Hart.
Cliff Hart.
That's a new review, too.
Cliff Hart. But this was brought to you by Tide. I'm just kidding. No, appreciate that.
You know, if it wasn't for our bows, we'd have never killed a deer. Nurse Mike, IN. Another great episode, guys. I agree with David. It's awesome to have a hammer show up, even knowing he may be leaving the area. Just had one show up to a mock scrape with raised scents and managed to get my excitement level elevated. We open October 1st, so hopefully I can get eyes on him and have an opportunity. Good luck, Nurse. Mike, Ben Sutter, great episode, guys. You know we were in for a good episode when David starts talking about the flies right away. LOL. I personally really enjoy the farmland chips and tricks you guys provide. I put cameras out on a property for the first time this year, even though I've been hunting for the last decade. I've seen at least one booner as well as a unique deer. I've learned quite a bit from you guys. Super stoked to see how everything plays out that I've learned. We're excited for you, Ben. Vega, interesting name. I'm so behind on the season this year.
You know Vega.
I do?
Yeah. He's our catfish guide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been focusing on, it still sounds like an interesting name. I've been focusing on my fishing so much I haven't ran cameras or even scouted. I think this year I'm going back to my roots and just going to fill the freezer. And Brian Sheffield, great episode again. Appreciate you, Brian.
Brian's on a back bar kick right now.
Oh, yeah? I think we got a whole bunch of people on a back bar kick. A bunch.
Did you find yours or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to read mine real quick?
Sure. So I'm going to throw Todd under the bus. Todd Stauffer.
He says sure, and then continues on.
I'm not going to read it. I'm just saying Todd sent his in on social media. Don't do what Todd did. Okay? We're going to use Todd as an example because he's got a really good request. Is exactly what we hear. He sent pictures, got everything here.
Do we give them the link on the podcast into the website?
Yeah, we could. Alyssa killed it now to where it's a fancy form that even like when it comes to us, it organizes per everything. So we'll have to put a new link in now because it's
okay. So go to the link that is in this podcast and click on that link.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was a long
way. I got to
way around saying that.
Make a new. I've got to make a thing on the website for a podcast tab now because everybody does go to the website.
Well, we've synced. I guess you'd say not sunk. We've synced our Onyx with AI so that it automatically gives us the coordinates of wherever this is, so we can figure out once we figured all of it out.
My guy just sent me a pin, so I don't need all that. All right, go on.
There may not be that concern.
Let's do yours first, and if we have time, I told Todd we would try to do it. I did not make him a promise.
Okay, so here is a pretty genuine breakdown. I think this one could pertain to a lot of people because it is going to give us a pretty real-life example of somebody who's been successful but wanting to kind of take a next step into wanting to target a deer. He said, I'm sure y'all have enough stories and others to help, but I could use your opinion on this. I've shot some big bucks, but I've never targeted one specifically. I have one that I am willing to focus on this year. Last year's sheds alone were 160 without spread. Holy cow. I had pictures of him last year. In my opinion, he looked like he was 4 and could be a really special deer this year, but no pictures yet. My farm doesn't have bucks until later into September. Seems like when the does drop their fawns and then the bucks leave the area. Anyways, I have a spot next to it that is private ground that I've tried to get access just to access the property, but I can't do so. So instead, I have to cross a river to get back to my area. I'm trying not to give too much information out here. I would like to know how you guys would hunt this buck. The X is where I found his sheds from last year and maybe 2 years ago. So he doesn't remember where he found his sheds the year before. Somewhere close to the X. Did you mark that on that?
Nope.
There's an X on there where he found his sheds, at least from last year. There's a feeder only there that's after the season until turkey season. And then there's some public ground around it as well. And then we've got Warren's got a drawing and a half here. So it sounds like the dude's got quite a bit of information on a deer. He has it's a very large deer, but he's wanting to focus on this deer now versus just hunting and shooting big deer, which there's nothing wrong with doing that either. I can't do either one of what we're about to talk about. So give us a second. Warren is X marking this X. So I think the first thing that we should answer here, and this is going to be a question for Warren and David on this, is what I think we've all probably gone through. Well, not everybody actually. I've started to get to that point when you've gone from being successful in hunting, you've gotten it kind of figured out where you can kill a deer every year, or maybe even kill a decent buck every year. And then you get to the point where now you're consistently killing some pretty good deer, or whatever is in your location. And when I'm saying good deer, you could be in Pennsylvania, you could be in Florida, whatever it is of your area's caliber that you're happy with. You're consistently doing that. At the point where you go from that to, okay, now I've watched deer for 2 or 3 years or whatever, or I know of him, and I want to single that deer out. What do you guys think is the hardest thing about doing that, going from previous of just hunting and looking for a caliber versus a specific?
You can go first, Warren.
Well, I think it depends on the deer, right? Because getting to know that deer and understanding what he's doing, meaning if I know that the very first thing for me is I want to know if that deer's a homebody or not. And I guess to categorize homebody, I mean a deer that I'm able to get consistent photos of. It's not like this deer goes on that I'm missing him for 2 weeks at a time. I'm able to, every card pull, I have pictures of him, or if I'm running cell cameras, I'm getting pictures of him probably at least once a week. And I know that his core area is on where I can hunt, and meaning that he's there during the day. I'm never wondering, is this a fringe deer, or is this a deer that's passing through? So I want to know that if I have that deer that I know is a homebody, then I know, in my opinion, as long as I hunt him correctly, I'm going to kill him. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take, because as long as I don't give him too much pressure and screw up everything he's doing, I'm going to get him to make a mistake, because I know where he's at. So from that point, for me, once I know I've got this deer that lives on my place, now I am trying to narrow down, where am I going to kill him? Where can I get him into a pinch point? Where is he at the majority of the time? What do I feel like he's doing? What winds can I hunt him on? I'm trying to narrow down that information so there's less variables. And then I'm trying to pretty much make it where I can go and hunt the same area, meaning sometimes it might even be the same stand if I'm really confident that I haven't burned that stand over and over and over and over and over until he does it. And I'm typically trying to do that before November 1 or November 2nd.
Okay, well, so you answered how you're going to hunt him, but his question was, what is the hardest thing about singling out a deer and hunting it? How would you answer
in that
that?
transition from when you used to just be successfully killing pretty good deer, big deer, whatever you're categorize, or however you categorize that, and then going to, here's a buck or 2 bucks that I'm going to target? What's been the biggest hurdle?
Being patient.
Yeah.
And waiting on that deer. I actually think, personally, the more that I've done it, I think that it's actually easier to hunt one deer than
if you can stay focused on it.
I think it's just easier in general. I think, like, if you have a certain caliber of deer that is, I want to kill 160-inch deer or better, I think it is way easier to get to know one deer and pick out that one buck and hunt that deer and successfully kill that one deer than just saying, I'm going to sit this spot
until 160
comes by. Yep. Or hunt these spots. So I guess I don't think that it is that hard of a transition, other than the patience part and passing deer that you would otherwise shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm probably going to enlighten some people, but at the same time, it's going to hurt some feelings, because I will be 100% honest. If you're going to do this and you have not done it before, in some respects, it takes some of the fun out. Now, for me, it didn't, because I like chess. I like the move. He makes a move, I make a move. But at the same time, if something that out of your control gets hit by a car,
or neighbor
shoots the deer.
Yeah.
Now you're back to, what do I do?
All your eggs are in one basket.
Yeah, you got all this focused on there, and you're counting, and you hear what we're all saying, and I do it too. My deer. So I'm going to hunt my deer today. I'm going to it's not our deer unless you got a big enough tract of ground that he's not leaving you. We've never had that luxury. So I look back and I say that you better be careful. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it. It is a one-on-one with a wild animal, and it doesn't get any better than that. But be prepared for a catastrophe in your hunting area, or when something, especially if you put
that
all
option
those,
is gone.
Yeah. When all those eggs are in that basket. So that to me would be the one thing that I would say that because I get, now that I've done it, I almost feel like I could go back to sitting in a stand and shoot or the next thing comes along. And I think it's typical of all hunters. I think what happens with us, just like you explained when you asked the question, you went from hunting deer, then you were killing deer, then you were killing bucks. And for me, that was over through multiple states. And so each time I moved to a different state, from Virginia to Arkansas, Arkansas to Montana, Montana to Iowa, and I hunted other places and I was successful there, I kind of would check it like, okay, there we go. I did that. Now for me is our scents and our rub trees and stuff like that, and trying to fine tune a technique. And so I've made it different. It really doesn't matter to me anymore about antler size as much. I like that they're older, or I want to, just because I feel like I'm doing a plus to the management side by picking out an older deer. But at the same time, I'm always looking for a challenge. And so you're always going to want to challenge yourself.
You probably want a backup deer too, because otherwise what you're going to have is you're going to be in a position where you can only, there's going to be certain days you can't hunt the deer that you're primarily targeting. So you're going to have to either go hunt a different deer, or you got to be okay with not hunting sometimes. And the other thing I would say too is that you got to be prepared to, if that deer is not, so if I have a 190-inch deer that is a fringe buck that shows up maybe I get 1 or 2 pictures of him every 2-3 weeks, something like that. And I've already tried to dial in somewhere he's at during the day, and pretty sure it's not on me. And I have a 170-inch deer that is in the
area,
in the core spot of where I want him. I'm hunting the 170-inch deer. And that's not because I don't want to shoot a 190-inch deer. It's because I know my odds are way, way higher of actually killing the 170-inch deer than they are the 190. So with that being said, you've got to be okay with, if that deer is not on you all the time and you're just somewhere he passes through, then you are accepting that your odds of killing him are very, very low.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because we need to make it clear that just because we target a deer doesn't mean we kill him.
Oh, I'm a prime example of that.
No, but I think that's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
You know, Ralph would be a perfect example. Our entire family was, we want to kill this deer, and we never did.
Yeah, but I guess is what I'm saying too is there's other factors that I am taking in when I target a deer, other than just rack size. I'm taking in their age, and I'm also taking in prior year, if I have it, history of what this deer has done, so that I know I'm going to be able to kill this deer, or that the odds are in my favor. So I'm taking in other information aside from strictly just, I like this one.
Yeah.
And I think what needs to be what goes without saying, maybe, because I think people have heard us say it multiple times. Maybe that's why our podcast is doing as well as it is, and we got so many compliments from people on this stuff, because a lot of what you're going to hear us give other people ideas on is not because of the success. It's been because of the failures, and because you learn way more when you screw up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ingrained. You kill a deer and it was like, wow, that worked really well, and pretty happy about it. And don't get me wrong, you chalk that one up. Maybe I'll redo this again. But boy, when you make a mistake, or at least I do, I pick it apart. Why did that happen? What could I have done differently to have a different outcome?
The other thing I think I would say too is be prepared for, and I'd be curious to know. I feel as though I might be a rare case, because some of the other hardcore hunters I know, this is not the instance for them. But for me personally, like you said, I think you need to be careful that if you start investing this much into one deer, you're going to become attached to that deer. And if that deer dies, it's going to be, you're going to be a little bit emotional.
Oh, I did. I learned learned the lesson the hard way on that. Warren warned me on that.
And that's okay. But you got, at the end of the day, you got to remember, it's just a deer.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a deer. Like, move on with your life. It's okay. But for me, after you kill 1 or 2 of them, then the stress is way less. Where it was like, I'd have a couple ones that I was chasing and they get killed, where before it was like, oh my God, no, he's gone. And I wanted to have a funeral. And then now I'm like, dang, that sucks. Good for that guy. On the next one. All right, guess you're in trouble. And so I don't know if I don't think that's happened for you, because you stress still over the deer. I know some other guys that are the same way. So I don't know if
after I had the one situation with the old Elway, that recalibrated me quite a bit. Because that was like when Warren said, "Yep, he's dead." And I was like, holy cow, I feel like I just got broke up with by a girlfriend. And it was not my choice.
I don't think you can tell me how much I'm stressing. I mean, I
can feel your stress during the season.
Obviously, you don't know me very well because it doesn't bother me near as much as you think it does. Do I talk about it? Do I mention? Yes. Do I say I think that deer's gone or whatever? Yes. But it's not a
but you're
killer.
Like October 5th. He's gone. He's dead. He's been hit by a car. And Shane is no better. He hears a gunshot a half a mile away. He's like, they got him.
You do not that comment right there is what totally jinxed me last year.
What? Well, yeah, they did.
Because I even said that on interview.
He made it, though.
Yeah, I know, but what are the odds of that? Freaking shot a mile away on camera. I'm like, oh, my target deer probably just got shot. Next thing you know, thunk, thunk. I was walking by limping. Oh, man.
Just so that you know, I also said he did get shot.
Yeah.
I mean, right.
You call him every time. You're bound to be right eventually. Yeah.
Well, considering I think I pushed him to the guy.
Yeah, he did do that.
I think it was very helpful.
You did?
Yep. Nick and I did.
Him and Nick.
What were you guys doing?
Going to a stand.
And you bumped him?
We bumped someone, and it sounded big.
And
then
it was I know that was your guys' fault.
Yep. We backed out.
It was pretty convenient timing, too.
We went to a different farm. We heard the shot from a distance. He texted me and said, "You just hear that?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I can't tell where it is. I'm too far away."
So you guys bumped him, then backed out?
We couldn't get to the stand. When we jumped him, I was like, I'm pretty sure we just jumped who we're looking for. And I'm like, or one of the couple, because there was a couple of them there. And I'm like, okay, we're out of here. I don't want to be here if he tries to come back. I want to let him just go through. So we left. Then we heard the shot. Then he texted me, "Did you hear the shot?" I was like, "Yeah, but where?" And he said, "It was right blank." And I was like, "Oh, well, we may have had something to do with that."
Not a good situation.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God that guy didn't load his muzzleloader properly, is what I'm guessing.
I don't understand. I still don't understand where that shot is.
The thing is that
had to have been angled.
I've seen it happen multiple times. Is why at Whalen's, he had a whole jar. I don't know if you remember the jar of all these slugs that were found inside deer that did not kill them.
Well, chains. I was surprised. I smoked chains, and that didn't go through. And I've got his or whatever the bullet from.
I think it's just how big a muzzleloader is. Too. You know, I mean, that's a big rock hitting them.
Yeah, I guess. All right. So, anyways, the only reason I wanted to ask that is because that is kind of where we're at with this gentleman. He's been successful. He's done very well, and I've seen some of the deer he's killed, and he's killed some pretty big deer. Mm-hmm. And he is trying to really learn how, not even learn, just trying to get an idea of how he could go about shooting one deer. And so I think that as far as we've got some trail camera pictures and stuff that's later in the year of this deer, we know that he has shed his antlers in this area, and we know it's heavy timber. I think the question of this, in my opinion, of is the deer there isn't much of a question as far as a home body. The only thing I would say is if we had more information, which we don't, I would ask, and you guys can correct me here, but I would ask if you're not seeing him during the summer, not as big of a deal, but if you're not seeing him during the fall, like you're not getting pictures of him or whatever in some of these areas in the fall at all, and then he moves in, because that picture I'm looking at, the trail camera picture, is December 28th. So that's pretty late.
Yeah.
If that's when you're seeing that deer, and that's when you're finding his sheds as well, obviously not December, but later in the year, he doesn't show up till, or you don't start knowing about him being there till December or whatever it is, or late in the year, that would make me more so be pushing towards, okay, maybe this is where this deer likes to winter, and that's where he stays. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I've seen that with a couple different deer where... Or
it's when there's no does left.
That he comes that way.
That now he has to go, and the place he goes is to here to look, and then he just stays.
But I feel like that would still be a case if he's wintering there.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like if he's found his sheds in the area twice, that he's doing that consistently. The question would be, do you have any information on him earlier in the year, October? Because he did say, I have not had a picture of him yet, which could assume that either you just haven't got a picture of him yet. That's not that surprising. Or he's not there this time of year. And then early in the fall, he may not be either.
Has he ever had a summer photo the year before either?
It doesn't sound like he has.
Have we ever had a fall photo?
See, that's what I'm saying. The big missing information on this one, I should have asked him. I guess I could shoot a message. No.
Okay, so let's just play this game real quick. If you could...
what? Oh, the cup.
If you could get one... If there's one piece of information that you would want on a deer you're trying to hunt, what is it? Like, there's just one piece of information.
I have one. I don't know if it's legit or not because I'm in my gap years of trying to accomplish this.
I guess I don't know if this is the right way to answer that question or not, but what I want is 2 years of history. If I got 2 years of history, now I can map that sucker, depending on how much history I have. But if you're asking for something specifically that's going to change, I'm leaning toward, I want him hitting a rub or a scrape consistently that he in the past. Again, I got to have.
Where you've seen him doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Scrapes or rubs. Because I think that.
Well, if I put it in, rubs.
Yeah.
If
well, I guess I
something-
should have clarified that when I'm talking about a rub, it's one we've put in the ground,
Right.
not one we just picked out.
Okay, so let's take two scenarios then, so to be in Kenny, was it Ken? Kent's situation here, I think we really need to know if he has a picture of that deer during October or November, because so far it sounds as though that deer just may not even be there until later. It might be a winter range that he goes to, and so you might, unless you go and expand your territory and where you're hunting, you may not be able to find that deer yet. So let's play two scenarios. One, you have a new place, so you don't get 2 years of history. What's this one piece of information that you're looking for? And then we'll go to scenario two, where you do have 2 years of information, because I agree. I think that changes it.
Okay, scenario one, new place, and the number one thing is I need a photo of the deer, or a deer to hunt.
Okay.
I mean
Well, we're going to assume there's a deer there to hunt.
Yeah, that's already out of the picture.
Okay, so you have that information.
You're saying you get one, if you get one golden egg. This is the one piece of information that David believes is going to help him kill this deer. What is that piece of information?
With 0 years of history with him.
I would, if what I'd be looking for, I guess I'm going back to some of the others that I've hunted like that. What I'm looking for is a consistent win in a place that I feel like he's spending time. That gives me, now I got a place to start.
So how are you getting that, though?
Through looking at what the wind, like what is that area or terrain that I'm looking for something that I would like to think the wind is going to be very consistent at all the time. And it's rare when you find it all the time, but meaning I would be disappointed if I found like this is a good spot to catch him, but the bedding area is south of here, and my primary wind all the time here is a northeast wind blowing right into it. That now I'm screwed here. I'm like, okay, I got the right spot, but I can't hunt this. Or that this is going to be a location that I can only hunt when I get the right wind.
I think for me, I wrote down the most vital piece of information would be a daytime photo in or near a bedding area between October 1st and October 25th. If I have a picture of a deer that I want to kill in that situation, I believe that he's just folded his cards and I can kill him. I would prefer to have that photo more like October 1st, between October 1st to October 15th. October 25th, I think we're getting a little bit close to where I only have about 5-6 day window to try to kill him right there. And so I guess when I say right there, I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to kill him in that spot. However, I believe that most deer from October 1st to October 31st I don't think they have just one bedding area. I think they have a couple, but I think they're pretty patterned as far as they go out to feed, they go back to bed, and they don't go very far. So unless your camera is right where they're at, They are continually doing pretty much the same thing. If I can find one of those places he's at during the day, I believe that gives me the information to be able to make a move on him over a time period where he is patterned, or be very close on the first few days of pre-rut when he starts seeking does. They give me the opportunity to kill him. And I really, really like situations where there's like islands of timber or strong pinch points, or anything where anytime I can find like an island of timber, that's my favorite thing, because then I know he's in there and he's going to have a hard time not running into me at some point. Then if it's an access thing, I just have to figure out how do I access this without bumping him out, and I think that it's usually a matter of time before I get a shot.
Mine was going to be bedding. That if I could find the general area he likes to bed, I'd feel a lot more confident. But that's also a shot in the dark on that one. I do feel like if I look back at some of the deer that I haven't purposely been picking them out, but had the best success with, and the bigger deer that I have killed have been, I knew were really, really, really well where they were bedding, or the vast majority of those deer were bedding at, and that's where I had I wasn't in it, but I was somewhere close to it and had a way to get them coming by me.
Yep. Which is kind of interesting, because I think back to the deer that we know that we've killed, the drop 12 was kind of a random one. That one was kind of interesting to me, because I wouldn't have guessed that you killed him where you did.
You caught him where he was staying for a little bit. Like I'd be willing to bet that was a day or two is all.
I don't know.
No, he was there all summer. That was home.
No. Not according to the amount of information we have of him.
Yeah. I mean, we have tons of information of him. That little island I would call that an island of timber.
Have a photo of him there?
No.
A
Maybe
bunch.
A scrape.
Remember when I had the camera on the south side?
I didn't think there was a picture of him there.
Tons of pictures. Even the night before I killed him, he's there at the rub tree.
Oh, okay. Was that why you sat there?
Partly, yeah, because I had all the summertime stuff there.
So he went back there then?
Yeah, I knew.
Okay, so that was a little bit of a different spot than what we had initially guessed. Because according to last year, too, he spent all of his time further to the north.
According to what you lost me here.
Last year he was all north.
The year before you killed
everywhere,
him, he was always to the north.
Oh, you're talking about the drop 12. Sorry. I was totally thinking of base drop. For some reason, base drop. Because I was thinking of that island of trees. Sorry.
No. Okay, so I was really starting to question there.
So
okay. I was like, I did not remember all those photos there.
I was like,
no.
What?
Yeah, so there wasn't even a photo of there, was there?
No, the only
one or two is all.
Yeah, the only reason I was in that stand trying to and possibly thinking that I could kill that buck was because of our scents. That's the only reason. I went and checked that south scrape 3 days before, and he had been there twice. He had been there once at night, and then he had showed up at like 12 or 1 o'clock, or it was midday, and he had walked in there and hit that scrape. And I was like, holy cow, he's circling here.
What was the date of him?
The 7th? What? 16th of November. And so he had been there on like the 12th and the 13th or something like that, or 13th and 14th.
Okay.
And then that morning, every buck, we saw 10 bucks, and every buck tried to go in a small sliver of timber, and every buck came out of there. I mean, like we saw them go in and then out, in and out. And that was why we were right back in that tree. Because I kept telling him, I just feel someone's in there. I didn't know it was him. I was just like, there's someone in there running them out.
Yeah. So pinned up with a doe. Okay. So that one, so the drop 12 was kind of a little bit of an interesting one, because you had to play that a lot different as far as he wasn't where we would have guessed the core was.
Correct.
BG was pretty much exactly where we guessed, where we killed him.
Base drop was 100% at home.
Yeah, base drop was there.
And so was Juice.
Straight up was at home.
Straight up was there. Juice was there. Magnum was there.
Junior was home.
Junior was there. We should have killed that one. Bullwinkle was there once we finally discovered it. Dragon wasn't supposed to be shot.
I know that. but I think that's where he lived, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, he was there.
Splits was there.
Splits was there.
Home.
Yep. So if you can find that home.
But one thing I want to clarify, because I'm also thinking, because I just had a guy walk up to me in Illinois, and he's hunting a place that I used to hunt, Hurricane Bottoms. This all works in the Midwest on private ground where other people don't have access to your ground. If you have other people penetrating the area, even if it's private, but you have other people you're dealing with,
very difficult.
This could make things that bedding area could be subject to change. And what I'm getting at is, like in Arkansas, the bedding areas change due to the water level too. It completely changed that. And same with the mountains back in Virginia, it would change as the crops came. So yes, in the Midwest, what we're talking about, man,
Do you think
dialed
those
in.
deer though, back there or back east, have a core area, or is it way, way bigger?
No, they still have core areas.
Okay, so you could, to an extent, if you can find a deer that's not being messed with, and you can find his core area, then you could kill one there with this method too.
Yeah, I just think that I would say those deer probably have multiple.
Probably more sporadic.
Yeah, multiple places they like. They go here and they stay there until someone screws it up or something.
Yeah.
Water comes in. Now they got to move. And then they move over here. And so they have a few where here I feel like they can get really comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially if they think it's the one that I think is the most notorious that I learned a ton from is YouTube filming that crazy ass quadruple main beam. Yeah. He had learned to live in a cornfield, not come out of that cornfield. We had cameras all up and down that damn thing, all around it. Not one photo of him until they cut the corn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like you look at that GPS study they did on a deer in, I can't remember where it was, but they showed that deer was going 1.5 miles or something to a bean field. Our deer have 5 to 15 bean fields within 1.5 miles, so they're not having to travel that distance. Okay, so I don't know if we've gotten off topic here, but I think what we're saying is
I do have
find the core area.
So he has not had any late, or he's only seen him later in the year. He said that the year prior he was all over, but broke all of his tines except for his main beam. I'm assuming, first I guess he caught a glimpse of him in late November from the timber northwest of one of the stands he circled. And then I asked if he's had any pictures or anything before late November or December. He said, no, not that I know for sure. Not late year. The year prior, not last year. The year prior, it sounds like he did have this buck all over, but he broke all his tines in his main beam. And then he circled where he saw him in person.
Okay. I'm going to raise my hand because, we got to. So what he saw is the year before, that deer was not that mature. That was immature stuff running around. I bet he was 2 or 3 years old, and he was freaking out. And then the next year, he's getting older. He gets a little smarter. He found that place that he really likes, that he's comfortable, and that's where he is. And he's kind of a fringe deer for him until those does start to thin out. And now, if he's showing at the end of November,
it may not be even a fringe issue, though. Sounds like he just may not be moving as much.
Well, I don't know.
That's in the heart of a chunk. I mean, a chunk.
Because this could be a bullwinkle scenario.
It would be right here is where he saw him last year, later in the year. You see that? Mm-hmm. So really in the heart of the main chunk of timber of this property. And also like within 30 yards of, probably not 30 yards, but within like 60 or 70 yards of where he's found his sheds 2 years in a row.
I also wonder if this was like some kind of food source, because it does not look like there's a ton of food around. If that's the reason later in the year that he finds his sheds, because he has to go to ag.
Maybe that's a ton of food
or something
right there. I'm sure that's probably alfalfa. So, okay, so we now know that if he is there, we don't have very much information on him early in the year.
So
I think you're definitely going to have, you mentioned it at the very beginning, Warren, of being patient. He's going to have to be super patient here. If he might not even get to start really hunting this deer till November 15th or 20th or something like that.
I agree. I think, well, if I was in his shoes, I would consider camera spamming.
That's Warren's go-to.
It is, man. And going to the public and everywhere I could put a camera, because like Bullwinkle was in one freaking draw, and here we thought he was just this absolute ghost, and we'd found some of his sheds and stuff, and we're like, this deer is just a ghost. He's not on us very much, and we're never going to see him, and then put a camera in one different draw, and all of a sudden he's not there. He's there
all the time,
all the freaking time. And so is what we were seeing. I think I agree with that. When he was younger, we'd get pictures of him over in one other spot, and we thought like that's where he was, and it wasn't. He was just younger and was willing to cover more territory before the rut because he just had a little more energy. As he got older, that was the spot that he was in. He was there all the time, and so you just have to find that spot. And so my guess would be is then as the season gets later, either he knows about shotgun stuff going on or rifle seasons or whatever they have down there, and then he's moving to food sources or whatever it might be. So I think that if I would be camera spamming, see if I can find that deer. If I can't, I'm not worrying about that deer till late season, because I think he will show up again if he makes it, but you may not have the opportunity to kill that deer until either later in the rut or late season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we have something we want to give him some ideas on whenever it is on what we're going to do? I haven't seen this,
So this is the property. This was where he found the sheds, I think, right?
Lower than that, but yeah.
Okay. River. Looks like, from what I could tell, that was a road. Light timber, pasture, timber, ag, timber.
And that's north. The way it's drawn is north is up at the top, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be north.
And he said he's crossing the river to get to the property, didn't he?
Yeah,
that's when you read that.
He said he's got to walk the river up to get into it.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I would be, and then the one time you saw him was right here. Sound like?
Right. Yeah, the bottom stand. So, yep. A little over left some, but yeah, that area.
So that
it's not. I mean, that looks way further. It's not very far from where he found his sheds, twice. So it's more like in the center of the timber, but
okay. So
honestly, looking at that, looks like that might lay pretty good.
Yeah, the only issue that he is having, he said that one of the spots where, like that stand, he struggles with hunting it properly because of the wind swirling, because of the land features with it. That it's a lot of times it's a inconsistent wind, which will ruin you. Let me tell you.
I would think access to that's got to be kind of tough too.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that that river comes all the way down, and that's where he's accessing. Like it's got to be
like he's walking down the river.
No, like as in it connects to the road off of the whiteboard somewhere, I think, and that's how he's getting up to it. I don't know exactly.
I'm just going to go out on a limb though and say that the deer is probably not spending that November time on that public piece. I think he's probably spending more of his time farther west. And there's food out this way. I don't know what that is around there. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. If there's better food there,
It's all timber.
Okay, then.
I don't know about. I can't remember all that was. I think it
was to the north,
northeast.
That looks like some fag a little ways away, but
lots of timber too.
Yeah, it's a ton of timber.
Like
I mean, he's got a freaking ton of timber.
But I would.
Here.
I mean, not knowing anything about this, the first thing that I would do is I would try to avoid the pressure. If I'm a deer, I'm not going to hang out on that pressure. Not saying he'll never go over there because people kill big deer on public ground all the time. But I would think that if I had the opportunity to hunt near that public and it was a place that, I guess it would depend too whether it's a high-pressured public area or not. But
I'd be putting cameras on that public too.
Yeah, to see if he's over there.
If you're allowed to. I don't know what it is, but.
Yeah, I'd be camera spamming, seeing if I could find that deer, because to me it sounds like he's not on you until late.
How far?
I think he's gonna have to focus on the private.
So. How far is it from the river to where he saw him? Because he said that's a tough stand to hunt. I mean, are we talking 150 yards? Or are we talking 50 yards or what?
Around 380.
Oh, it's a long ways
to the closest spot.
Never mind. Because what I was going to suggest is that river could also help you with your wind.
The issue, I'm just going to throw it out there right now. It sounds to me like this deer likes to be on the south end of the timber and everything, or hangs out more there. I think that he will I think he said earlier that he may cross the river, but he's not. No, he doesn't know. He just was mentioning there's a feeder over there actually, in the off season. But that's an awful access. I'll just be honest, because that is really, really difficult to be able to get into without. I mean, with any wind. I'm looking at this with any wind. No matter where you go, you are having to. You have to walk through some massive chunk of timber, and maybe it's not that big of a deal if they're not bedding in it. But if they are bedding near it, I mean, I don't see a way that you can really get into it with a wind that you would actually want to hunt it with down there on the south side of the timber and be good.
Well, what's this? That little chunk right there, is that?
He has permission on that, I think.
It's timber too. It's just
all
right,
but
chunk of timber.
But he could come in from the river, and with a west wind, it's blowing right in his face to get into any of this timber without being detected.
Yeah, if he could go straight along the southern fence line,
right, and there would be no.
That would be better. But then I mean, I don't know. You need to know where the deer's bedding. But at the same time, you can't hunt the stand that he's referring to because it's an inconsistent wind. So that stand's got to move somewhere anyways. You got to find somewhere where it's a consistent wind. Even if it's in an area somewhere, or go higher up or lower down, whatever it is, it's useless to try to hunt a swirling wind stand.
Do you have the 3D thing on there? 3D exaggeration?
This south winds could be good for here. You could come through this pasture and...
He can't get through up there.
Why? Oh, it's a different piece.
Yeah.
Oh. What about here, though?
It's upside down.
It doesn't connect like you think it does.
Oh, this is just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a very tough situation to access. He doesn't have all the land access that would be nice. And there's a ton of timber. I mean, each timber looks like a ravine. So I'd bet that it is pretty dang good bedding, probably.
I'm just guessing that stand he's talking about, this one here, that's hard, he's at the bottom of that ridge.
It's over here.
Yeah, like down in here. And so you can see why he's getting the swirl. Sorry. He's getting the swirl right because of the ridge coming down like this. If he moved his stand up on the side of that ridge, you probably get a more consistent wind. Also, you would be able to work the thermals in the morning for sure. They would be rising. Because, man, this looks like a pretty good travel, like a coming down or coming back in these fingers to get into the. It looks like he's in the heart of the big piece of timber.
Like a good spot, yeah.
But see, that's like a flat right there, and I think that's at the bottom.
Each one's a ridge.
Right. I would be looking at somewhere halfway up that hill right there.
Okay, so how can we pertain this? Number one, to give him some information, and number two, I should have vetted this a little better. This is a pretty tough one with not tons of information, but relatable here. You have a deer that you're trying to you have a deer that you are trying to target, and you have some information of him. I guess this would be a really good one to, if you're in a situation where you have a deer that shows up later in November or later in December, and that's the only information you have of them. We've already you got to wait, right? You got to wait till that they are in the area, unless you think for some reason you're missing them somewhere early in the year.
I think so. If I was in this exact situation, this is what I would do. I don't believe at this current time that I have enough information to actually make an educated play for the month of October. The only way I would either commit to gathering it more information. So I'm going to be trying to talk to as many neighbors as I can. I imagine it's not a huge piece. He's probably got a couple cameras on there. I'd have cameras out on my piece, obviously. If I could have them on the public, I would. I'd be putting cameras as many places as I could. I'd be scouting as much as I could, seeing if I could find this deer. If I'm just committing to him, that's what I'd be trying to do first. Is I'm going to try to find this deer and locate him using any means necessary. If I'm not able to do that, then I'm going to focus on a different deer through October. I'm going to try to kill that deer, and then I'm going to know going into the late season that I am banking on this buck coming back. From there, I'm going to be fairly reliant on cameras, trying to figure out where he's going so that I can get an idea on how to access it. Because otherwise, is what I'm thinking here is it's going to be very difficult to access this without bumping the deer.
Yeah.
One thing that you possibly could do, judging from your drawing, and I would be on that road right now, this next few weeks.
See if you can see him.
See if you can spot him. I would be morning and evening, if at all possible, to see if I can figure out where he's feeding at, and which direction is he heading when he leaves. Where's he going?
Yeah.
But you got to keep this in mind. And I used to talk about this when I did a lot of elk seminars, and we just don't have enough information. So there are situations where it's not possible. I mean, I've had to walk away from a bugling bull because he's not killable. He had bedded in an area where you could not get to him. He could see everything. He had wind right. You have to go find a different one. But otherwise, you could be doing something futile. I'm saying in this particular instance, we just don't have enough information to be able to really help as much as I would like to. I don't think he's there, but at the same time, there are situations where it doesn't work.
I mean, if you get to the late season and he's bedding in here, it's going to be awfully hard for you to ever get in there without him knowing, especially once all the foliage drops and everything. Without some other access point, that's going to be really tough.
Helicopter.
Unless you knew that he was, like there's an ag up to the northwest and he was headed up there, and then it would take him, okay, he won't be in here for the first hour. I'm going to be in my stand an hour before daylight and then let everything just chill, and I'm waiting on him.
Yep. So
that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Yep.
It's a good one, though.
What are those photos?
Other deer that got killed.
Oh. So that doesn't help us.
Evidently, a lot of the deer in that area get killed. Pretty much all of them.
Well, hopefully he can be one that kills them.
Yeah. I hope so, too.
Yep. That's going to be tough.
All right. I think we're going to wait on Todd and do it at a different time.
Okay.
I think he's not, it's okay. We got time.
If you guys do send some of these in, we're probably going to do a couple topics here, legitimate topics, in the next coming ones, unless everybody's requesting more and more land breakdowns. But if you send them in, like I said, try to think. Maybe I'll even try to come up with a questionnaire. But if you're going to send us the stuff, sending us the pictures is helpful. Sending us Onyx screenshots, whatever, is helpful. We won't share it, obviously, but send us in the most information you can. Like if you saw the buck in the summer and you also saw him in the fall and you also saw him in blank and blank, whatever. Even little information that you don't think is worth knowledge. You guys hear us every time that we do these. We ask a lot of questions, and if we don't have those, we can't give us best of advice or educated guesses. So just try to think of that. If it's a deer that you have no idea what it is or whatever the situation is, you can send it to us, but we may not use it, just so you know. So,
and October photos, fall trail camera photos would be best. Well, actually, just all the information you have from photos and time of year would be best, I think.
Did we want to tackle the height thing on the stands or no? Wait.
I don't think we said it well enough in the beginning, so if we dropped anybody, they're not going to hear it.
Okay. We should just save that whole thing, do a whole stand placement kind of thing.
Yep.
So we're not trying to hold off on you. We're just trying to make it where it makes the most sense, where someone can come and listen to it and get the most out of it.
A baby elephant in Thailand was hit by a motorbike and revived with CPR by off-duty rescue worker Maina Srivate. He'd performed many resuscitations in his 26-year career, but never on an elephant.
Oh, my.
The calf stood back up and was later reunited with its herd.
I'm trying to figure out how even a calf gets jacked up by a motorcycle.
I would think that I wouldn't think it would do that much to them.
I guess I think when they're first born, they're really little.
I guess if it was baby, fair enough. I don't know that. I'm going to start getting harsher on your wacky facts.
Because they're good?
No. Give me something that I want to put in my pocket and remember for the rest of my life.
I bought a book the other day at Baumgart's that I think has some really good ones.
It's probably called the Book of Wacky Facts.
No, it's called the Farmer's Almanac.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. Okay. You got another?
Let's see if you know this one. In the U.S., about 75% of truck owners tow once a year or less. Nearly 70% go off-road once a year or less. And 35% use their trucks for hauling once a year or less.
That's good to know.
So
I
everyone's
see that one as a
princess.
I was gonna say that's a good one. 90% of the people that have it don't need a freaking truck.
But it's cool.
They should do a statistic in there about how many guys throw a dead deer in the bed of their truck. That classifies that.
No,
that
I think
counts.
we should. I think they should do. How many guys know how to run a ratchet strap?
Oh, that's concerning too.
Huh? No, I've met multiple now, and
There's a lot
older,
old ones too,
younger, like across the board. And I'm like, huh?
A ratchet strap?
A ratchet strap, 100%.
He's not wrong. I've seen it multiple times too. They look at you like, nice.
You owe me
They may
big.
even own some of
You
them.
owe me big because you've known how to run one since you were like 5.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that everybody knows how to run a ratchet.
It
You
ain't
would
a
think
thing.
so, but it ain't a thing.
No.
Especially when someone hands you one and then ties it. Puts
What?
It, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
What do you mean they
Can
tied it?
attest to that one. Yep, that was a thing.
We're not
Like
not
they
going
just
there.
pulled on it and
They didn't.
And
They
then they
never
tie
knew
it
how to
off.
get it to work properly,
Yeah,
so
so
they
they
just
just
throw
tie
it
it.
through the thing and tie it.
but they must have had the ratchet loose to even be able to pull slack.
I don't even know if they use the ratchet.
Yeah, I don't know if they used the ratchet or they just bought it so they'd have the long strap.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
That's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that is going somewhere. Can't say that ain't going anywhere.
That's
All
funny. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. We appreciate that. And I apologize because I feel like we did not do Kent justice. We tried, but we just need more information. So,
I mean, I think that's a good one though, because it's a realistic scenario that there's certain scenarios, especially if you're hunting a smaller piece, that you may not be able to get to them,
yeah.
or it's going to be really, really hard, and you're going to have to get kind of lucky.
And here's the other thing, I guess, if you get that late in the season, go for it. I mean, you got nothing really to lose. I mean, if you're not going to hunt him, if you're like, okay, this is impossible, you can't go wrong then. There's nothing you can do.
You can also still rattle deer in December. It still works.
Absolutely. So
can get her going.
yeah, actually, Easton should have had a hell of a lot more information for
Yeah,
you
no
on
kidding.
this because he is Dr. December. So he should have been able to say, wait a minute, this is all me right here. I should be able to handle this one. So anyhow, with that being said, we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to go to the website. Make sure the scents are selling fast. And I'm not just saying that. We were at the Illinois Beer and Deer Fest and stuff is going. So anyhow, long story short, go get your stuff. We got some new, brand new hats. I don't think we've had those on the podcast since.
They're on the website. We talked about it on the last one, but it hasn't been released yet.
And so
recent.
all you podcast guys, don't forget your discount on the new hats. And all the kinds of stuff is on there. So go check that out. Otherwise, start sending pictures, man. We are getting tons of people saying, check out what's hit. The one that's awesome is they're like, I can't believe this. 2 hours, and they're already at the scents. The next day, already at the scents.
Yep.
We told you.
We had a lot of people buy at the Illinois Deer and Beer Fest, and then by the time we got home on Monday, we had messages from the people that had bought that had deer on their scrapes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
They left the show right away and went and put them out.
Yep. They had to have. Otherwise, I don't know how they did that so fast.
All right. We will see you next week. Thank you for joining the Raised Hunting Podcast.